currently, there's been an ongoing debate on the need for state police structure in order to be able to stem the evil tide of insecurity going on around in Nigeria. I've heard so much about it, but there's still so much I do not know, and I'll be happy if someone out there could help furnish me with some of these answers to the questions bugging my mind. One of the major questions is, what exactly is it going to look like? Will the state police still be an appendage of the Nigeria police force, or they'll be absolutely independent and autonomous, in which case they are not in any way attached to the Nigeria police force and there is a police structure? Will the state police be populated by police personnel that are only from that state, and or those who are willing to come into that structure from any other state? Will the commissioner of police be, by obligation, must the commissioner of police be someone from that state, and on the rung of the ladder like that? What kind of crimes are they supposed to prosecute, to investigate? Are they supposed to only still investigate the state crimes as it is now, or their scope of investigation will be expanded? Now, I think that some of these questions need to be addressed before we take a huge leap constitutionally by amending the Constitution to incorporate state police in our everyday security network in Nigeria. To my mind, some of the challenges we have today that seem to push us to think it's important to have a state police are challenges that we could try to resolve administratively as a manner of trying out the idea of a state police before we engage ourselves in constitutional amendment in order to accommodate that. As it is now, majority of the crimes in Nigeria are crimes that are, if I may say, state crimes. That's crimes that can be prosecuted by each individual state where these crimes occur. Now, if that is the situation, what exactly is it that is the major problem in managing the policemen that are in these states from apprehending suspects and prosecuting these various state offenses? Many times we are told that the commissioner of police in a state would not want to take instructions from the governor and would just want to take instructions from the IG, and where there are situations where the governor and the IG don't seem to be on the same page, then the persons would not, the commissioners of police would not do the right thing, as it were. So I'm asking myself, is it possible for the president or for the National Assembly, for instance, to amend the Police Act such that it gives more pride of place to the instructions that will have to come from the state governors when it has to do with state crimes? For instance, crimes that are to be prosecuted within the state, that will be within the purview of the Attorney General of the state. Could there be a way administratively to try this out and say that the final word on the decision on what steps to take concerning the crimes should be between the Commissioner of Police and the state governor, maybe with some facilitation or some review further down the line by the IG? What I'm proposing is that some of these things, if we know what exactly we think we can gain by state police, can we find out how we can administratively try out these things before we take this leap? If indeed we expect that all the policemen in that state must be from each of the states, can we try it out now and see how well it works? What will happen to their families, their accommodation, and all of that? Let's move majority of the officers in each state to be indigenous from that state. If we are saying we need people who will understand the language and the terrain and all that of the states, let's try out some of these things as some model before we then take the leap of constitutional amendment, because the issue of state police is something that we can't just afford to enter into blindfolded. I would really be glad if some answers can be given to me on some of the questions that I've raised.